Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Walker, an MTSS facilitator with Everett Public Schools, and I'm back again with Barb Dubin, our school social worker from Garfield Elementary. And we're here with our last video on social emotional learning for elementary age children. And for our last video, we really wanted to take a minute to just pause and talk about kind of the extra stress that everybody is under right now. I think more of us are experiencing this than ever, even though I think at all times, even before the pandemic, we have periods of time where we're under extra stress and need more help. But we really just wanted to pause and give some attention to that and talk about when we need to notice if our kids need more help than just some of these check-ins we've been talking about. So I found this resource that I thought was really interesting through the Washington State Department of Health that said almost 30% of parents are experiencing negative mood and poor sleep quality, with a 122% increase in reported work disruption and 86% of families experiencing hardships such as loss of income, job loss, increased caregiving burdens, and household illness. Families experiencing hardship are also reporting navigating their child's disruptive or uncooperative behavior and anxiety. So during this time, just a lot of extra stress. So Barb, can you tell us a little bit here in Everett, what are you hearing and experiencing from our families?
Well, I'm hearing from families a bunch of different kinds of reactions that kids are having, from loneliness. You're reporting loneliness because the kids are feeling disconnected. It's helping now that we have the hybrid models available. But kids who can't come in to school are feeling even a little bit more disconnected. A lot of anxiety and worry. When is school going to open? What's going to happen? Am I safe? Parents have also shared with me about sleep problems and the changes in routine. Kids are getting their nights and days mixed up because they're staying up online after their parents are going to sleep, and then they're not waking up in time for their morning classes. So nights and days are getting mixed up. Also changes in activity levels. So kids maybe not be getting outside as much as they used to because so much of our work is computer focused and sedentary. Also kids, I've witnessed this actually, is kids' inability to focus for longer periods of time. And I think that may be from having tiredness, emotional irritability, and also not maybe having a balanced wellness, with physical and mood regulation. The other thing kids have complained is missing significant life events like birthdays and holidays and gatherings and even funerals. Kids have shared with me that grandma or great aunt Sally passed away and they weren't able to go, and they feel like they've missed out. And it's these are important things to listen to and support for kids because they need to be able to share those feelings. Next is kids have expressed a lost feeling of security and safety. Well, grandma died, am I going to die? Why can't I visit grandma in the nursing home? If she's sick, what if mom goes to work and gets sick? So that sense of security that is a little bit, that foundation for them is a little wobbly for all of us. But kids really feel that because they are dependent on us. And then lastly, kids, they get overwhelmed by the technological demands. I don't know about any of you out there, but I certainly have had to learn a lot of new things in a short period of time. And there's frustration when they can't, let's say, submit their work on time and their teacher sends them a late notice, or, that they can't do the research that they were hoping to do. So these are some of the concerns that parents have shared with me about this. So what can parents do to support this kind of stress? We have many different ideas. Some of the things that we've shared with you in this video series are all really good ways of supporting student stress. The virtual calming room is available at this website and has so many fun things to do. In fact, Go Noodle might even be one of those, and Mind Yeti. There's meditation, which is really about mindfulness. Oh, the campfire is kind of fun. You know, when we weren't going outside so much, or if I don't have access to a campfire, to have a virtual campfire. Those are all, anything again that's using your senses, your five senses, it's something different. Listening to the crackling fire, hot chocolate, you can smell some, using your senses, smell visual things to look at that are different, having new tastes, trying new foods, art and using your hands to build things, or being able to use Play-Doh to craft different things. When we're under stress, being able to use our five senses is a great grounding activity and gives us those mindful breaks. But in terms of children that are, you know, concerned and you're feeling some of those, you know, what do I do with my kids when they're feeling this way? Maintaining normal routines is huge if you can, especially that sleep thing. Sleep is our foundation. And when sleep goes wonky, irritability and mood really are impacted. So if you can help your child have a regular routine, listen and talk and encourage that expression that we talked about in the beginning of our series. Listen for those feelings, listen and share your feelings that are appropriate, of course, for kids to hear, like, you know, that I feel upset when I can't go to work today because of COVID. I mean, those kinds of expressions. Give honest and accurate information. Very important to say things that are, I'm just thinking about how I would say this, but like I heard somebody say that their dog was put to sleep. And that is an expression we use a lot, but kids can worry about, oh gosh, when I go to sleep, does that mean I'm not coming back? So being able to be honest, but make sure that we use words that don't have like a double entendre with them, and being able to say that, yeah, you know, Auntie did pass away from COVID, and then sharing how you're feeling about that. And it's okay to be sad, and ways to honor those folks that have passed during this time. Teach simple steps to staying healthy. We've covered that in our wellness section, and doing things together as a family is a really great way to reinforce that for kids. Being on alert for behavior changes. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in the next slide, or in a little bit. And then that reassuring children about their safety and their well-being matters, and that using our masks and staying 6 feet apart and sanitizing. And when kids go to school, that the schools are being extra careful about that. So to reassure that going back to school is safe. Those are some of the things that you can start with to provide that stability and support. I think in our next slide, if we have our next slide, I just want to touch on this because sometimes what is sadness for a couple days goes on for longer periods of time. And I want parents to be aware of signs of depression in children. And we are seeing more and more signs of depression during this COVID time. So it's one thing if you see a symptom, one of these symptoms for a short period of time, but when these symptoms last longer than a couple of weeks, this is when I want parents to reach out and get support for their kids, because we don't want children to be in too much distress for too long. So withdrawal from family and friends. If your kid isn't coming downstairs and not joining your family activities or meals, that's a concern if that's going on longer than a couple of days. Disinterest in former pastimes or hobbies, like nothing seems to be making your child happy. Prolonged episodes of sadness or anger. Sleeping much more or less than normal. Remember I said about disrupting those routines is a warning sign. Increase or decrease in appetite. Lashing out at others. Extreme self-judgment, like really self-critical. Nothing, I can't do anything right. Nothing I do is good enough for you. And those kinds of all-encompassing statements. In older children, using alcohol-controlled substances is also a warning sign. And of course, any suicidal thoughts or behavior, any self-harm are also things that need immediate attention. And we have a section coming up here about where to go and turn for help. Remember, always reach out to your pediatrician or to our county care services, because if you have a question, better to ask it. my child is doing this and this and this. Should I be concerned? Better to have early intervention and early support rather than letting depression get bigger and lasting longer. We always have better outcomes when we can treat depression in its earlier form.
Yeah, I was going to say, Barb, that even for small children right now, we could probably experience a lot of these things, and it's hard to tell the difference, right? Especially when we're home and our routines are off, we're eating more, we're sleeping differently. It might be just kind of normal, but probably, yes, reaching out probably to you or to our school counselors or pediatricians you mentioned is a really good way to reach out.
Absolutely. And again, it's things that go on longer, and that, because kids are moody and kids change, but if you're noticing a pattern, you have a good gut feeling about this too, that my kid just doesn't seem like himself. And that's the time to reach out and not let it go on, because it's harder to treat the longer depression goes on untreated.
Okay, and then you have a couple of resources to highlight and then a longer list. So these two you pulled out to hit the places that we might turn.
Yep. 211 is this great countywide phone number that has lists to all kinds of resources to support families. So if you're looking for emergency services, or if you're looking for therapists or groups or housing or food supports, 211 is a great resource in our county. Just pick up the phone, 211. This is also this Psychology Today is a directory of therapists that are available in our area. So check your insurance, and you might find a list of people that your insurance is approved of that you could check with this list. And if you need any help with navigating that, you can always contact your school counselor for that as well.
That's great. And then the last piece of this, I just want to kind of go slowly and show these last two screens so anyone could take a picture of this, or you can find it on the Everett Schools website. And it just has a kind of a wealth of resources here for community service directory, for really anything that you might need support with. And again, dialing that 211 sounds like that's a good resource for pretty much all of these different areas.
If you could just go back to that last slide. If it's an emotional concern, a behavioral concern, or a suicidal concern, or like a child that's very, that could be in danger of hurting themselves or another, we really want you to call the Care Crisis Line. It's a 24-hour hotline. They can give us advice right away and connect us to the services we need to support that child right away, as is our domestic violence hotline. They are confidential hotline that they can help if you're in a situation where you feel, or you or your children are in danger. They can help you make safe decisions to keep your family safe. So 211 again is more for resources not related to behavioral mental health, but they're great for all the others.
Okay, and then those are here in this middle column. I see for the Care Crisis Line and the Domestic Violence Hotline are all here in this middle column of resources under emergency assistance.
Yes, absolutely.
And then here we have some more resources, and I'll just pause for a minute so everybody has a couple seconds, or I guess you can pause your video and take a picture of it too.
There you go.
Yeah, or again, find this on our school district website. So thank you so much, Barb, for all of these videos and tips and resources and books and videos and such great stuff.
Yeah, reach out to your school counselors. We are all trained on all of the things that we've been talking about. They're a great place to start. And they may have groups like lunch bunch groups that we're doing. Some of their schools are offering for kids to help with the loneliness and the connection. Food resources and clothing resources are available. And the school counselor is a great place to make a connection and talk about any questions or concerns you have about your student. Your child.
That's great. Our students, that's great. Thank you so much.
All right, bye for now. Thank you so much.